Hey guys, welcome back to Edible TV. It's time to talk about the preview for the Leicester game. The press conference with Ten Hag has now finished. I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty hard to watch. And look, I think it's partly a language barrier sort of thing, but I also think it's a purposeful approach by Ten Hag. I don't think he actually. I think he's looking to be a bit more reserved when it comes to answering the media's questions. I do think that it's partially a language barrier. I do think that there are certain things he's trying to say, but he can't say it because he's not completely. He's not got the complete grip of the English language. So I do think he's a bit more, reserved in terms of what he wants to say. He tries to say a lot with the least amount of words possible. But I do think, look, if he was locked on with the English language, he would say a lot more. But look, it's as simple as this. Look, Ronaldo seems to be staying. Ronaldo, it looks like he's going to stay. But then again, there was never a question that was asked specifically for Ronaldo. No one asked, is Ronaldo staying? No one said that. All Ten Hag was saying was essentially, we're going to stick with this team until the January transfer window. And look, he did say if there's an opportunity to grab someone from the transfer market, then they need to be open to trying to get that deal done if there's a deal that should be done. Now, look, Dest was a player that's been mentioned in the last 24 hours, right back position. I do think that he's a decent player. Whether he's a player who would get Delo off that right back position, look, on good form, maybe he's a pacey player. He's not the biggest, but then again, does that matter? No, I do think he's quite a pacey player. I don't think his final product when it comes to providing those crosses and those final passes is into the attack is great. But then again, he's young, isn't he? Like 21 or something. So Dest is a good player. I don't think that deal's going to happen because it seems like Bissaka is staying. So it's a shame we didn't get Bissaka sold because I think that he's not going to replace Delo. He might be played in look, we're playing 2 games a week until the World Cup. So there are going to be games when Bissaka is going to have to play. I do think that when it comes to, look, a lot of these players have gone on loan. Telles, Bailly. If we would have gotten Bissaka on loan, which we couldn't have because he's 50 million and no one wants to pay his salary, we probably would have gone for Dest. We're not going to end up with 3 centre backs. We're not going to end up right backs. We're not going to end up with 3 right backs. So let's see what happens there. But then again, Martial out for the Leicester game. What does this tell me? Look, I hope to see Ronaldo start this game. Why hasn't Ronaldo started against Southampton and Liverpool? Well, I think the Liverpool, there's a conversation to be had, and there's a debate to be had that it was a tactical approach, and it wouldn't surprise me because it happened last season. He didn't start against Chelsea. He didn't start against Man City for one of the games. And that's it, you know what I mean? He didn't start for against Everton last season. So, look, I think against some of these bigger teams, Ronaldo, who can be the difference maker, but then again, he can be one of those players who might affect the system when it comes to, look, I think Ten Hag has managed to adapt pretty well to the Premier League so far. Against Liverpool, look, we played counter-attacking football. We still got the win. It's not the way Ten Hag wants to play, but Ten Hag, look, there's a realization there that he can't play possession-based football with the players he had. He might have thought he did, but after seeing some training sessions and being aware of some of these players' strengths and weaknesses, it's clear that if Ronaldo would have played against Liverpool, perhaps we wouldn't have got the win because, he doesn't offer that pace that Rashford does when it comes to the counter-attack. Ronaldo is a bit of a flip of a coin because you can play him against a Man City or a Chelsea. He might have a fantastic performance or he might have a performance where he is invisible because, look, right now, even now with these wins, right, the last 2 wins, we're still struggling to get a lot of opportunities against our opposition. Look, against Southampton, we didn't have much opportunities. Liverpool, we did, but we were on the counter. And even then, we didn't have loads of opportunities. So it's one of them things where if Ronaldo isn't being used, look, it can be anything. Ten Hag is aware. Look, he's a very good manager. And these managers, regardless of who we were going to get instead of Ten Hag, would be aware. If you have a midfield or fullbacks that can't provide that sort of creativity for Ronaldo, look, he's a waste up front. And against Liverpool, that could have been one of the reasons. You're going to have to play counter-attacking football. Martial came on. You had Rashford, Elanga, pacey players, and they're going to be direct. And that's what we needed against Liverpool. If you're going to play possession-based football against Liverpool, we probably wouldn't have won that game. Let's be honest. We probably wouldn't have won because some of these players are just... It depends who you play in midfield. But we didn't have Casemiro there. So you needed to play counter-attacking football. With Casemiro, it's a different story. We're going to be able to play more possession-based football. And this is where it comes to finding the balance. Who will play tomorrow? Who will play tomorrow? This is one of the things that will be... It's going to be a moment of truth for us as fans, because with Ronaldo staying... Look, for me, at the end of the day, he could still go. There's one day left, but if he's on the bench tomorrow or he's starting, clearly he's staying. Now, there's a lot of games coming up, so he won't be able to play every single game. We're still somewhat... I wouldn't say we're lacking in certain positions, but what I would say, if that, it only takes one player to be injured. Martial is out tomorrow, so tomorrow we're going to have to see Ronaldo up front. There's no way I want to see Rashford, Elanga and Sancho up top. It just doesn't make any sense. You need a goal scorer. Leicester are in poor form. They're 20th in the league. Look, they've conceded quite a few goals as well. So Leicester right now, they're not in the best place. So we could take advantage of that, all right? We got battered by them last season 4-2. We need to batter them now. And I want to see Ten Hag play his best team. For me, you start Casemiro in this game, yeah? You start De Gea in goal, same back five. De Gea, Dalot has been great. Varane and Martinez have been great as a centre-back partnership. And Malacia at left-back. Midfield, what are you going to go with? 4-3-3. Look, throughout the game, we switched to 4-2-3-1. It's an interchangeable formation, right? What I want to see Casemiro. There's an argument to be had we should see Fred, because if you want to adapt Casemiro better into the system, maybe you want to use Fred, who he plays with internationally. However, I would want to see Casemiro, Eriksen and Van de Beek in this game. Now, Bruno's not going to get dropped. It's as simple as that. But I do want to see, and this is what we've been missing. This is one thing I will say. I've said it quite a few times now, but I will repeat it. Some of these players, when they're being pressured or pressed in tight spaces, these players do not deal well with it. Some of those players are Rashford, Bruno, and even maybe McTominay. But then again, McTominay has been used more in the centre defensive midfield role. But especially Bruno and Rashford. Rashford is not a striker. You can see that he's not good at playing his back to goal. In possession, he's not the best. Look, he loses a lot of the possession. Bruno, again, a lot of these stupid flicks and keep the ball. When he's being pressed and pressured by opposition defence and midfield, he doesn't do well with it. He just puts a mad long ball that it goes everywhere. He's not good at keeping the ball. Sancho's good at keeping the ball. Eriksen is good at keeping the ball. So really, we need to find that balance there. And even Ronaldo, really, as a striker, even when he drops deep, he's good at finding those little passes in between the lines and through the little gaps. Players like Rashford and Bruno, they're not really good at that. Bruno is more of a... Look, even Bruno, I said before, he suits better a counter-attacking system, but he can somewhat adapt to a Ten Hag system because he's a great passer of the ball. And look, he's a creative player as well, Bruno. So in terms of Rashford, I don't think he suits that, and Elanga doesn't suit that either. Sancho suits that because he's a technical player. He can keep the ball. The ball is good at his feet. Sticks to his feet. Again, Martial, another player who really suits that. They're good at that. They're tick-attacker football players. That's what they are. So they're going to be good in tight spaces, and they're going to find those passes in between the lines and in tight gaps that we need to get the passes into. So really, tomorrow is going to be about that. And again, Van de Beek is another player. So I don't understand why Ten Hag is not starting Van de Beek. Tomorrow, I would love to see Casemiro, Eriksen and Van de Beek. You know what? I wouldn't even mind to see Casemiro, Van de Beek and Bruno. I wouldn't mind that. It does sound quite attacking, but you've got a proper defensive midfielder now. So use him. Should be enough to beat Leicester. And I would want to see... Look, Antony's not ready for tomorrow. Also, that was mentioned. Ten Hag didn't even talk much about him, but Antony probably won't be ready until the Arsenal game. And even then, he'll probably be on the bench. So really... Look, the best case scenario up top, you would have Ronaldo starting, Sancho on the right and Rashford on the left. When Antony comes in, then we'll have to see what happens. Check out my previous video. I did talk about what position Antony will play, all the sorts of positions that he might take up, who will be on the bench. Look, one of these players are going to have to be on the bench, whether it's Sancho or Rashford, because Antony will start for most of these games in the season. So, yeah, tomorrow's about playing players who are good in possession, who can keep the ball at their feet, who are not going to panic when being pressured or pressed. And for me, Bruno's not that player, and Rashford is not that player, neither is Elanga. We need to have players who are good at keeping the ball. Look at Brentford last season. We played Mata, Matic, Ronaldo. Bruno also played in that game. But that game, look, again, Brentford, Leicester, I know it's different, but still. That was one of our best games of the season in terms of the way we played. We held on to the ball. Look, it was very elusive. It was a very elusive game, very technical game of football. We managed to get the ball off our feet, find those little passes in between the lines, the passes, those short passes where we were being pressed and pressured. This is going to be another game. Leicester, they're hurt, but they're going to be up for it. They're going to want to get a win. So we need to find those passes in between the lines and find those gaps and those spaces, and don't be playing no long balls. If we're playing Rashford, Elanga and Sancho tomorrow, it's just going to be long ball after long ball. Rashford is not a striker. Ronaldo can play his back to goal. He's good on the ball. And that's it. Look, he might not be the paciest player he was before, but he's still got enough pace to put centre-backs on their arse. So really, tomorrow I want to see those players who are good on the ball, and that's what I want to see. I want to see Van der Beek in midfield, Eriksen, Casemiro, to protect the back four. He's still got, I love these centre-backs. Dalot's doing well, Malacia's doing well, and that front three is vital. Sancho for me, Rashford and Ronaldo. Rashford might not be the best in that, but he's what we got. Anthony can't start, and Martial was injured. I would have played Martial in this game. I think he's a better player when it comes to this sort of game where we need to open up defences and play between in these tight spaces. And look, we're going to press tomorrow. We're going to press. But I feel like Ronaldo might only play 60, 70 minutes because we've got Arsenal on Sunday. So it's about managing the energy. And if Ronaldo gets 1 or 2 goals, he'll probably start against Arsenal again. And this is it. Play players who are good in possession, technical players who can deal with being pressured and pressed in tight spaces. Please, Ten Hag, do it. Guys, let me know what you think. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.